Olimpiskās spēles tuvojas izskaņai, arī Latvijas atlēti ir pabeiguši savus startus, bet kā tad ir veicies mūsu kaimiņiem, lietuviešiem un igauniem? Lūgojām taujāt viņu žurnālistiem par Lietuvas un Igaunijas iespēto Pārīzes Olimpiskajās spēlēs.
There is a big questions asked about big basketball because we didn't qualify for the Olympics. We lost to Puerto Rico. You know, if anybody would say this, I don't know, in 2008 or in 2010, that the Lithuanian national basketball team can't win against Puerto Rico in the qualifier, people would think that you are stupid, you know. And now that's our reality, you know. There is big questions asked about the federation of the basketball federation, about their job. What is wrong with the basketball system? Why don't we have such a good talents anymore? Or if we have talents, they grew not in Lithuania, but in, for example, Spain or USA, like Domantas Sabonis, or this new guy Matas Buzelis, who is Lithuanian but grew in Chicago. One of the biggest talents now grew in Barcelona. He didn't play in the national team yet, but everyone is expecting that in a few years' time he will be the national team. So I think the biggest talking point before the Olympics and even in the beginning of the Olympics and after the bronze medal of 3x3 basketball is what's wrong with our normal basketball, what's wrong with our big basketball, why we lost Latvians in the World Championship last year. I think it started then when you beat us and you crushed us in the World Championship. We had no chance, you know. So it's already a few years questions about basketball.
Pauļus Suberi ir Lietuvas televīzijas sporta žurnālists, kurš Parīzē piedzīvoja arī brīdi, kad lietuviešiem izdevās izcīnīt bronzu 3-3 basketbolā. Medaļa basketbolā ir lieliski, medaļa pārspējot latviešus, lietuviešu saldais ēdiens.
It's always nice to win a medal somewhere where Latvia is worse, especially in basketball. So I'm joking a little bit, and I'm not joking at the same time. You know, yeah. But you know, there was like some story. The first European champions of basketball was Latvia, and the second was Lithuania. So everybody was thinking maybe the history would repeat itself, you know, with the Olympics. No, it doesn't get like that, but it's still good, you know. Our coach of the basketball team, we were talking with him in the mix zone, and the phone rang, and he's saying, "No, the president is calling." I thought it's Basketball Federation president, but it's our president. So he answered the phone, make it on the loudspeaker. And the first thing our president said was, congratulations, guys, because every time the Lithuanian basketball players lost to Latvia, Latvian president calls me and trolls me. So it was really a fun moment. And he said, now I can say something to my colleague, you know, from Latvia. They were greeted in Lithuania like a normal basketball team with an open bus. They were driving to the city, to the fan zone. Many fans came, you know, like the old times with the basketball players. I think it was a little too much, maybe, but it's fun. It's really fun. You know, everything in Lithuania is for the basketball, and everybody else. In all the time, it was like that. We were always greeted the basketball national team when they came back from World Championships, Olympic Games, or European Championship with the medal, silver, bronze, or gold, doesn't matter. There's always a parade. Always a parade. The last one was in 2015, last our medal in European Championship. It's always a parade. So I'm not surprised that they made a parade for the 3x3 basketball team, but I would like to see the same for the other athletes.
Lietuvas lielākā cerība uz zeltu bija Migals Alekna diska mešanā. Cerēto rezultātu izmainīja fenomenālais jamaikieša Rodžeja Stouna metiens.
Everybody was a little bit disappointed, you know, because he had to win the gold medal. Everybody thought about it, and the main guys, this Slovenian guy, Christian Čech, everybody knew about it. He came fourth. Daniel Stoll from Sweden, I think 7th. So those big guys who can, beat Mikolas. But there's some Jamaican guy who came out of nowhere and won the medal, and who is even considering not to be a discus thrower in his life because he has something from NFL, some offers, and he can, begin to the footballing career. So it was a little pity, but the same. There are some people who say that that's a failure to not win the gold, but everybody understands that 3 centimeters, it's like, it's nothing. It's by chance you can. Next other day, Mikolas would have won.
Sudraba medaļa tāpat ir lieliski, bet Cubera nevēlētos to saistīt ar Lietuvas vieglatlētikas sistēmas efektivitāti.
I don't think that he's the product of the good system. He's, first of all, he's a product of Mother Nature. Second of all, because of the good coach, good young coach. He's, I think, almost the same year. Mantas Jusis. He's just a few years older. Very, very good coach. Very promising, like talented. He has the same talent as the Alekna in discus throw. He has talent in coaching. I can't say that that's because of the very super system. It's totally enough. You can look to Finnish people and how many good athletes they have in athletics. Yes, they didn't win any medals, but they had, I don't know, many guys even in the final.
Medaļa airēšanā bija gaidīta, bet ne no Viktorijas Senkutes, kura salīdzinoši nesen tikai atgriezās šajā sporta veidā.
Our first medalist in this Olympics was Victoria Senkute, a rower, as I said, single sculls woman. She was surprised. She has a big backstory. She was thrown out from rowing a few years ago because she came back 10th, I think, from European Championship. And the rowing federation said, okay, we don't need you anymore in the national team. So she took a bicycle and started to bike and even participated in the European Championship in road biking. Then the president of rowing federation changed. In a new president, the Olympic medalist from Rio, Mindaugas Griškonis. She came back to rowing, and she came back, I think, about 1 year before the Tokyo Olympics. So she didn't have a chance to go to Tokyo, to qualify. And she was, working in a regular job in some IT company and then rowing. Very, very tough girl. And she came to Paris and won the medal. So she was like a hero, for many, many people. Like this surprise story is always nice to see, and that's one more point to talk. Why we don't, why we say for the athletes that you are too worse, and place in the European Champion. It's not very good, but we don't have so many good athletes that we can, just say we don't need you anymore. And she was talking about it too, and thanking for the new federation that she had a chance to compete and to win bronze medal.
Tomēr gaidīts panākums bija no 17 gadus vecās breikdejotājas Dominikas Banevičas jeb Nikas.
Especially because of the breaking all Lithuania now. I think it will be breakdancers in the next 2 years at least, because this big girl Nika, she's really, really fun to watch. Very never sad, She was smiling after the last final. She was smiling. She's only 17. Everybody just loves her in Lithuania. So I think I can compare her silver medal to Rūta Meilutytė in 2012. When she won a gold medal, being only 15, she's big star in Lithuania for the past 2-3 years. So everybody was expecting she to win the gold, but she won the silver, and everybody's still happy. Swimming is okay, even though Rūta Meilutytė didn't win the medal, but she's in total, different kind of her career now. Before the 2012. She was, grinding, pushing herself to the limit, and after she came back, she's swimming for fun. And when you have a girl who is swimming for fun and she can still reach the Olympic final or be on the step on the final, that's huge because she's not training that needed from the top, from the elite swimmer. But we had two more swimmers in the finals, Dana Sarpshis and Katrina Teteryakova. They both came out fifth, so it's very good for the small nation in the swimming. For example, our beach volleyball team, the volleyball federation gets really few money from the government, and everything they get, I think, goes to volleyball. Or we have some promising beach teams, but these two girls, they came to the Olympics from their own money. They were, looking for the sponsors for a few years, flying from all the beach pro and the challenger tours. So they came to the Olympics just because they wanted, and they were trying really, really hard. And they lost all three matches in the group game. Especially the third loss was very bad because that was the lower ranked Japanese team, and our girls was crushed like really bad. But when you know the backstory, that they had no backup from the government, nobody is, I think, saying anything wrong about them.
Savukārt igauņu sabiedriskā mēdīja žurnālists Johannes Vedru uzsver, palikšana bez medaļām šoreiz Igaunijā netiek uztverta kā katastrofa. Tomēr uzrādīti pasaules līmeņa rezultāti. 5. un 6. vieta desmitcīņā, kā arī 4. vieta paukošanā.
I'd say that maybe emotionally, I know that when the decathlon was, then this was probably the biggest party in the place where the Estonian delegation officially celebrates great results in Paris. So I know that after Nelly Differt's fourth place, the party wasn't so loud. But after the decathlon's 5th and 6th place, because we have so many decathlon fans who always come and travel to these events, and they were also being part of this whole gathering after the event. So I know that this was probably the loudest night there was. The feeling has been quite positive, I must say. Although we haven't had a medal, and that's the first time that we hadn't had a medal since 1996 in the Summer Olympics. So seems quite far away, but coming to these Olympics, I'd say that the Estonian delegation didn't have a candidate for a medal who was maybe 70 or 80%, the percentage that he or she might get the medal. We don't have, these kinds of Olympic tourists this time in the team. We feel that these who are at the Olympics really deserve to be there. And that also helps why this overall vibe is positive. Also, those athletes who we considered medal contenders, their percentage of winning a medal was maybe some 30-40 or something like that. So if we count these all together, then we thought that maybe if we get one medal, then it would be a great result. Two would be, superb, maybe not that realistic. And it was 50-50 whether we get a medal or not. But as the results have been outstanding and the performances have been great.
If you followed Latvian javelin throwers like men's and women as an observer from the side, can you say what do you think about that, or if you have followed?
I don't know. It's something is quite similar, maybe in Latvia, in Finland, maybe in the recent years when we look at the javelin throw also, and as you know, we had one guy, Magnus Kirt, who got injured. And that was that. But I'd say that looking from Estonia, then we know your Latvian traditions in javelin throwing. We know really well. Jānis Lūsis, we know really well, and we know that you always at least have 2 or 3 guys who compete in big events. And sometimes also get the medals. so you have this stability in participating with many athletes, whereas we in Estonia basically only have one great javelin thrower during a specific period of time.
But how people are welcoming their athletes? Are Estonians like welcoming at the airport, or like there's like some like events, or how people are like, you know, connecting with athletes when they come back?
I'd say that maybe two of our swimmers being on 7th place these Olympics and making the final. Before that, there were only two Estonian swimmers ever who had reached an Olympic final individually, and now two more. And these swimmers, at least one of them, Eneli Efimo, is really young. So when they return to Estonia, the swimming society, the swimming community, really praised them, and which is quite seems quite logical, because in Paris we had just three coaches with the swimmers, so two swimmers and three coaches, and one of those coaches wasn't Estonian. So back in homeland, probably when they arrived, this was a big event.
Do you think there will be some discussions in Estonia, for example, at some federations, that we need to improve something because we didn't get any medals? Or do you think that the message you just said, okay, we didn't get any medals, but our results were like world class?
Well, there have been some jokes that if Estonia doesn't get a medal, then the Estonian Olympic Committee president should resign. But I'd say that these rather are jokes than, serious thoughts. But the discussion how Estonian sports should be built up from the scratch, and as do probably Latvians always think how much and where should we get the money, how much there should be sponsors from private companies and so on. These discussions basically are, there's always somebody who asks these questions, but we haven't had this experience for a while, that we come back from Summer Olympics and we don't have a single medal. So I don't know whether this changes the atmosphere of these discussions, whether they might be somewhat more aggressive, maybe, or some kind of, different than they have been in the recent years.
But in Estonia, you have a more Scandinavian approach. Like, of course, high result sport is really good if we have like talents and athletes, but the main goal is to have healthy nation, people doing physical activities more and more, like nation health is like the priority.
President of the Estonian Olympic Committee, well, he's into this wider health of the society. And this is his rhetorics, has been from the start when he gained the position. And this also, I think, is a question maybe which divides generations. Although the president is an older guy, then I'd say that even if we look at the sports journalists, the older sports journalists probably would say that the first task of the Estonian Olympic Committee should be that our top athletes win medals at the Olympics and in different competitions, and maybe those who are 40 or less, they also consider this important, but they think that maybe the whole thing of being role models when we consider these athletes who compete in the Olympics, this maybe is even more important. So You know, that's the thing, that the Estonian Olympic Committee has to deal with the top athletes, has to deal with the whole society, and has to also somewhat deal with schools and children, although it's also the education ministry that works on it. So so the Estonian Olympic Committee has at least 3 very different and very important tasks, and the discussion of how much of these tasks should, how big of a priority should the medals be in this discussion also, before every elections rises up.
But do you think Estonian nation approves more approach of like spending more money on top elite athletes, or putting money to the side where like the whole nation gets benefit?
Well, the thing in Estonian sports is that it's really hard to reach the top at first, because you only get the money from the Olympic Committee when you have some kind of a result. So basically, if you want to get a salary of some 2,000 euros per month and get possibilities to train well, then you have to reach top 10 at the Olympics, be in top 8 in Olympic disciplines in the World Championships, or reach the top 3 in European Championships in Olympic events. And okay, we have this, and this is called the B category support or funding. We also have a C category, and we have an A category. And the A category is for them who basically are European champions or at top 3 in World Championship level or at the Olympics. And then there's also an A+ category, which is for them who are world champions, Olympic champions, and so on. But so if you already compete in a great level in the world or in Europe, then the life gets good. But the main issue and the main problem is that we don't have a system with which to get to that level. And that is also which is the biggest worry for the athletes, especially during, at the age of 20, 23, as probably is the same for you in Latvia. So we have a coach. His name is Rivo Vesik. He worked during these Olympics with the Swiss women's volleyball, beach volleyball team pair, and they won the bronze medal. And we in Estonia, if somebody gets a medal, we give them, a lot of money for it. There's a prize for being an Olympic medalist or an Olympic champion. But this Rivo Vesik, he said that yes, they gained bronze medal with the Swiss pair, but there isn't any prize money for getting an Olympic bronze, because their support and the money that they had to use, they got it for the preparations. And he is an Estonian. He knows the system because he has also been part of the Olympics in 2008. So if we compare these two systems in sports, in Switzerland, in Estonia, for instance, then he also said that these are rather different, because one system gets you the fundings in order to train yourself well enough to get to a great level, and the other system, which is the Estonian system, okay, if you have great family support, if you have a little bit of luck maybe, and if you get some results, the system also works. But the system in Estonia treats you well if you had made a great result.
Abi Baltijas kolēģi uzsver, ka neskatoties uz sasniegtiem rezultātiem, viss nav tik viennozīmīgi labi vai slikti. darbs turpinās jebkurā gadījumā.